Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Rarest coins today, we're talking about one of the most surprising and valuable coins ever to come out of the United States Mint, the 1962 D. Lincoln penny. You might have one sitting in your change jar or tucked away in an old collection. But did you know that some 1962 D pennies have sold for as much as $1.9 million? That's right, a single 1-cent coin that most people overlook could be worth a small fortune. So in this video, we're going to break down the story, the history, and the special details that make this coin so incredibly valuable. Let's start with a little history. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. The design was created by Victor David Brenner, and it became the first U.S. coin to feature a real person. For half a century, the design remained almost unchanged. Then, in 1959, to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, the reverse design was changed from the famous wheat ears to the Lincoln Memorial that we all know today. By 1962, the Lincoln Memorial reverse was still in use, and the pennies were being struck by the millions at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. The 1962 D penny was made at the Denver Mint, and the D mint mark can be seen just below the date. Most of these coins are extremely common. Billions were produced that year. But as with many coins, rare varieties and minting errors can turn an ordinary penny into something worth a fortune. The 1962 D. Lincoln penny is made primarily of copper, with a composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. It weighs about 3.11 grams, the same as pennies made before 1982, and it has that classic reddish-brown color that collectors love. However, among the countless 1962 D pennies produced, there are a few that stand out for very special reasons. One of the most famous and valuable versions of the 1962 D penny is the double die obverse error. In this variety, the date, the word liberty, and sometimes even the motto "In God We Trust" appear slightly doubled. This doubling happened when the die that struck the coins received a misaligned impression during its creation, causing a second, overlapping image. To the naked eye, this doubling can be subtle, but under magnification it becomes clear and unmistakable. Collectors are always on the lookout for these double die errors, especially from the early 1960s, because they're rare and often in high demand. There's also a famous off-center strike error from the same year, where part of the design is missing because the coin blank was not properly centered during the strike. Some of these off-center 1962 D pennies have sold for thousands, depending on how dramatic the error is. Another variety to watch for is the repunched mint mark. In 1962, mint marks were still punched into the dies by hand, which sometimes resulted in the D being struck twice or slightly misaligned. These small differences can make a big impact in the value of a coin. Now, you might be wondering, how does a penny like this end up being worth $1.9 million? The answer lies in a combination of rarity, condition, and collector demand. The most valuable example ever discovered was a 1962 D penny struck on a silver planchet that was never supposed to be used for pennies. A mint worker's mistake caused a blank intended for a silver dime to be fed into the penny press, and the result was a coin that looks like a penny but shines like silver. That one-of-a-kind coin, confirmed authentic and in pristine mint state condition, went on to sell for an unbelievable $1.9 million at auction. It's considered one of the rarest minting errors in modern American coin history. Most 1962 D pennies you'll find are only worth face value, but even those in perfect condition can fetch a few dollars to a few hundred, depending on their grade and color. Red, uncirculated examples graded at the highest levels can bring strong prices from collectors who want perfect pieces from this era. The real money, though, is in the rare errors and unique varieties that slip through the cracks at the mint. If you want to check your 1962 D pennies for value, here's what to look for. First, examine the date and lettering under good light and magnification. Look for any signs of doubling, especially on Liberty and "In God We Trust." Next, check the mint mark under the date. If it looks doubled or has a shadow effect, it could be a repunched mint mark. And finally, if your penny looks unusually light or silvery, it may have been struck on the wrong planchet, and that could be your ticket to a fortune. The story of the 1962 D. Lincoln penny is a reminder that even the smallest coins can carry huge surprises. It's also a testament to how much collectors value history, craftsmanship, and rarity. From a simple design that began in 1909 to a $1 million modern treasure, the Lincoln penny continues to capture imaginations more than a century later. Let's recap. The 1962 D. Lincoln penny was struck in Denver and is usually made of copper. But rare errors, like doubled dies, repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, and especially coins struck on the wrong metal, can make certain examples worth thousands or even millions of dollars. The rarest of them all, a 1962 D penny struck on a silver planchet, sold for an astounding $1.9 million. That's the kind of discovery that makes coin collecting one of the most exciting hobbies in the world. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos about rare and valuable coins. Share this video with your friends and family. You never know who might have that $1 million penny hiding in a jar somewhere. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy collecting. Would you like me to make a version of this script tailored for a short viral format, around 2 minutes long, for YouTube Shorts or TikTok? Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Rarest coins. Today we're talking about one of the most fascinating and talked about coins in American history, the 1982 Lincoln penny. This little coin might look ordinary, but some rare versions from 1982 have shocked the coin collecting world by selling for up to $1.4 million. That's right, a simple penny that could be sitting in your pocket change might actually be worth a life-changing amount of money. So make sure to watch until the end, because I'll explain exactly what makes these coins special, how to identify them, and what history hides behind the 1982 Lincoln penny. Let's start with the story. The year 1982 was one of the most important years in the entire history of the Lincoln cent. It was the year when the United States Mint made a major change in how pennies were made. Before 1982, pennies were made mostly of copper. Each coin contained about 95% copper and 5% zinc, and they weighed 3.11 grams. But as the price of copper began to rise, it actually started costing the mint more than 1 cent to make a penny. So, halfway through 1982, the U.S. Mint switched to a new composition, a zinc core coated with a thin layer of copper. These new coins weighed only 2.5 grams. Because of this transition, 1982 became a unique year with a mix of both copper and zinc pennies. And to make things even more interesting, the Mint was also experimenting with different sizes of the date numbers on the coin, large date and small date varieties. That means that in total, there were 7 major versions of the 1982 Lincoln penny: copper large date, copper small date, zinc large date, zinc small date, and a few others depending on whether they were minted in Philadelphia or Denver. Now here's where it gets exciting. During the transition, a few rare mistakes happened at the Mint. Some coins were struck using the wrong metal planchets. That means a few 1982 pennies that were supposed to be zinc ended up being struck in solid copper, and vice versa. These error coins are what collectors dream about. One of these rare 1982 D small date copper pennies turned out to be an absolute legend in the world of coin collecting. When it was authenticated, it shocked experts, and later sold for a price that stunned everyone. In pristine condition, this penny was valued at over $1.4 million. Yes, you heard that right. A single 1-cent coin from 1982, because of a minting mix-up, was worth more than $1 million. What makes it so valuable is not just the rarity, but also the historical significance. It represents the moment the Mint changed the composition of America's most famous coin, and one of the rarest transitional errors in modern U.S. coin history. So how can you tell if you have one of these rare 1982 pennies? First, you'll need to know how to tell the difference between copper and zinc. It's actually very simple. Take your penny and put it on a scale. If it weighs about 3.1 grams, it's made of copper. If it weighs around 2.5 grams, it's zinc. Then look closely at the date. The small date 1982 D copper penny is the one everyone's looking for. The difference between a small date and a large date can be seen in the shape of the numbers. On the small date version, the number 8 has a more even shape, and the top and bottom loops are the same size. On the large date, the top loop is smaller and sits higher. If you find a 1982 penny from Denver with the small date style, and it weighs 3.1 grams, you might be holding a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. Even the more common 1982 varieties can be worth more than face value, especially in uncirculated or proof condition. Some collectors pay hundreds or even thousands of dollars for high-grade examples, depending on their mint mark and variety. The 1982 penny is a perfect example of why coin collecting is so exciting. It shows how a simple change in production can create incredible rarities that turn into million-dollar discoveries. The combination of history, metal composition, and human error makes it one of the most studied and hunted coins in modern times. So, if you have some 1982 pennies in your coin jar, don't overlook them. Grab a scale, take a closer look, and see if you can spot that rare small-date copper version. You never know. You might just be sitting on one of the most valuable modern pennies ever made. Let's do a quick recap. In 1982, the U.S. Mint changed the penny from mostly copper to mostly zinc. Because of that transition, there are several varieties, and a few were accidentally struck using the wrong metal. The 1982 D small date copper penny is the rarest of them all, with one example selling for over $1.4 million. It's one of those coins that proves that treasures can still be found in everyday change. And if you enjoyed this story and want to learn more about rare coins and valuable finds, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss our next upload. Share this video with your friends and family. Someone out there might have that rare 1982 penny without even realizing it. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy collecting. Would you like me to make a shorter 2-minute viral script version too? One that's designed to grab attention fast for TikTok or YouTube Shorts. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're diving into the incredible story of the 1997 D Lincoln penny, a coin that most people overlook, but that has become one of the most talked about modern pennies in recent history. While most of these coins are worth only 1 cent, a rare version of the 1997 D penny has shocked collectors and sold for as much as $1.1 million. That's right, a single penny from the late 1990s could be worth more than a house. In this video, we'll uncover the fascinating history of the 1997 D penny, what makes it so valuable, and how you can tell if you might have one sitting in your own collection or spare change. Let's start with the background. The Lincoln penny has been a cornerstone of American currency since 1909, when it was first introduced to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin features Lincoln's profile on the front and, since 1959, the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design by Frank Gasparo that remained in use until 2008. By the time 1997 rolled around, the Lincoln Memorial reverse had become an American classic, and the penny continued to be one of the most widely circulated coins in the country. The 1997 D penny was struck at the Denver Mint, which you can tell by the small D mint mark under the date on the obverse side of the coin. These pennies were made primarily of zinc with a thin copper coating, a composition that began in 1982 when the mint switched from solid copper to copper-plated zinc to save on metal costs. Each 1997 D penny weighs about 2.5 grams and has that familiar reddish-golden shine when new. Billions were produced that year, but as with all coins, a few slipped through the minting process with rare and valuable errors that would later make them famous. One of the most talked about varieties of the 1997 D penny is the double die error. A double die happens when the die used to strike the coin receives 2 misaligned impressions during its preparation. This results in doubling on parts of the design, such as the date, the word liberty, or the motto, "I in God we trust." Some 1997 D double die varieties show noticeable doubling in Lincoln's eye, giving the appearance of an extra eyelet. This kind of detail is what makes collectors excited and drives the value of these coins sky high. Another type of valuable error to look for on 1997 D pennies is the off-center strike. In this error, the coin design is struck off-center, leaving part of the blank visible and giving the coin a dramatic, eye-catching look. The more off-center it is, while still showing the full date, the more valuable it tends to be. Some of these can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on how far the strike is off. But the rarest and most valuable version of all is the 1997 D penny struck on a foreign planchet, meaning it was accidentally made using a blank intended for a different country's coin or denomination. During mint production, Sometimes planchets from other coin runs, such as dimes, nickels, or even foreign currency, get mixed into the presses. When that happens, you end up with a coin that's completely unique. The most famous discovery from 1997 was a penny struck on a silver-colored dime planchet, making it lighter and smaller than normal. This rare minting mistake caught the attention of experts and collectors, and after authentication and grading, it sold at auction for an unbelievable $1.1 million. So what should you look for if you're checking your 1997 D pennies? First, examine the coin under good light or with a magnifying glass. Look closely at Lincoln's eye, the lettering in Liberty, and the date for any signs of doubling. True doubling will look like an extra outline or shadow that's part of the design, not just a scratch or damage. Then, check the overall shape and color of the coin. If it looks thinner, smaller, or has a silvery tone instead of the usual copper color, it could be struck on the wrong planchet. Lastly, look for any unusual features like die cracks, extra thickness in the letters, or off-center strikes. All of these can increase the value. While most 1997 D pennies are only worth face value, those rare errors and unique strikes can be worth anywhere from a few $100s to several thousand, and in exceptional cases, up to $1.1 million. The reason these coins can command such massive prices is that they're one-of-a-kind pieces of minting history. Serious collectors compete for them because they represent the rare intersection of technology, human error, and luck. The 1997 D Lincoln penny also tells a larger story about the legacy of the Lincoln cent itself. For more than a century, this coin has been part of everyday American life. It's seen wars, economic booms, and technological revolutions, yet it remains one of the most recognizable coins in the world. Even modern pennies like the 1997 D prove that incredible treasures can still be found in the most ordinary places. Let's do a quick recap. The 1997 D Lincoln penny was struck in Denver using a copper-plated zinc composition. Most are worth only 1 cent, but rare varieties, including doubled dies, off-center strikes, and especially coins struck on the wrong planchet, can be worth a fortune. The rarest known example, a 1997 D penny struck on a foreign silver planchet, sold for an astonishing $1.1 million. That's what makes coin collecting so fascinating. Hidden gems like this can turn pocket change into history worth millions. So before you spend your next handful of pennies, take a closer look. You never know when you might be holding a $1 million mistake. That's the magic of coin collecting. It's not just about metal and money. It's about history, mystery, and discovery. If you enjoyed this story and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our next upload. Share this video with your friends and family. Who knows, one of them might have a rare 1997 D penny sitting in their coin jar right now. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy collecting. Would you like me to write the next script about the 1995 Lincoln penny, another famous double die error that's extremely popular with collectors? Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're diving into one of the most talked about and mysterious coins in U.S. history, the 1984 Lincoln penny. At first glance, it looks like every other penny you've ever seen, but hidden among these coins is a rare variety that has stunned collectors and made headlines. Believe it or not, one of these tiny 1-cent coins has been valued at an incredible $1.3 million. That's right, a simple penny from 1984 could be worth more than a luxury home. So stay tuned, because I'm going to walk you through the history, the details, and exactly what to look for to see if you might have one of these valuable coins hiding in your collection or pocket change. Let's start with the background. The Lincoln penny has been a part of American coinage since 1909, when it was first introduced to honor the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. The obverse features Lincoln's portrait designed by Victor David Brenner, and over the years, the reverse design has changed. But in 1984, it still carried the Lincoln Memorial on the back, a design by Frank Gasparo that was first introduced in 1959. Now, 1984 was an ordinary year for most coins, but something extraordinary happened at the U.S. Mint. During the minting process, a small number of pennies were struck with a dramatic error that makes them worth a fortune today. This error is known as the 1984 doubled ear penny, and it's one of the most famous double die coins ever discovered from the Lincoln cent series. So what exactly is a doubled die? When the die, the piece of metal used to strike the design onto blank coins, is made, if it receives a second impression that's slightly off from the first, the result is doubling in parts of the design. When coins are struck with that die, the doubled image appears on every one of them. In 1984, one of the dies used to strike Lincoln cents in Philadelphia had noticeable doubling on Lincoln's ear. You can actually see what looks like a second ear just behind the first one, and that doubling is clear to the naked eye. It's not damage or wear. It's a true minting error, and collectors go absolutely crazy for it. Most 1984 pennies are common and worth only face value, but if you find one with the doubled ear error in good condition, you might be looking at a coin worth hundreds, thousands, or even more. In uncirculated mint state condition, some examples have sold for over $10,000. But the rarest and most pristine examples, graded by top certification companies at the highest levels, have reached prices close to $1.3 million. That's because serious collectors are willing to pay almost anything for the finest example of an important error like this. Now let's talk about how to identify this valuable penny. Take a 1984 penny. It should not have a mint mark under the date, meaning it was made at the Philadelphia Mint. Then, look very closely at Lincoln's ear using a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. If you can clearly see a second outline of an ear just behind the first, you've found the famous doubled ear variety. The doubling should be strong and easy to spot, not faint or blurry. Be careful, though. Many coins have marks or scratches that might look like doubling at first. So take your time and compare it to pictures of verified examples online or from coin guides. The story of the 1984 doubled ear penny is also a great reminder of how small mistakes at the US Mint can create incredible rarities. Just think about it. Millions of 1984 pennies were produced, yet only a small fraction had this doubling error. Over the years, many of them have been spent, lost, or damaged, making surviving examples even more valuable today. What makes this coin even more fascinating is that it represents a perfect storm of history, luck, and collector passion. The Lincoln Memorial reverse design was nearing the end of its long run, and the 1984 doubled ear error became one of the standout modern varieties of that era. It's now considered a key coin for anyone serious about collecting Lincoln cents. So the next time you're sorting through your change, take a closer look at those pennies from the 1980s. Especially check any 1984 coins, because you never know, that ordinary-looking penny could be the one with the doubled ear, the one that could change your life. Imagine finding a coin worth $1.3 million sitting in your drawer or in a jar of old change. It's the kind of discovery that every collector dreams about. Let's recap. In 1984, the US Mint accidentally produced a small number of Lincoln pennies with a doubled die error on Lincoln's ear. These coins are called the 1984 doubled ear pennies. Regular 1984 pennies are worth 1 cent, but the rare doubled ear version can be worth thousands and, in pristine condition, even more than $1.3 million. The key to finding one is looking closely at Lincoln's ear on the obverse. If you see a clear doubled outline, you might be holding something incredibly special. That's the magic of coin collecting. History, art, and a little bit of luck all come together in the palm of your hand. Coins like the 1984 doubled ear penny remind us that hidden treasures can still be found in everyday places. If you enjoyed this story and want to learn more about rare coins and valuable finds, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our next episode. Share this video with your friends, your family, and anyone who loves a good hidden treasure story. Who knows? One of you might find that million-dollar penny next. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy collecting. Would you like me to write the next one for the 1983 Lincoln penny, which also has a famous error that sells for over $15,000? Welcome back, everyone, to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins in American history, the 1988 Lincoln penny. You might think a penny is only worth 1 cent, but what if I told you that a rare version of the 1988 Lincoln penny is sold for as much as $1.2 million? Yes, you heard that right. Over $1 million for a single cent coin. Stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes this coin so valuable, how to spot one, and the full story behind it. Let's start with a little bit of history. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It replaced the Indian head cent and became an instant American classic. The design we all know and recognize features Lincoln's portrait on the front, also known as the obverse, and the Lincoln Memorial on the back, or reverse, which was introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Now, fast forward to 1988. At first glance, the 1988 Lincoln penny doesn't look much different from the others minted throughout the 1980s. It's copper-plated zinc, weighs about 2.5 grams, and has the familiar Lincoln Memorial design on the reverse. But there's a small detail that changes everything. A minting variety that makes it one of the most sought-after modern-era coins in existence. This rare variety is known as the 1988 penny with the 1989 reverse, sometimes called the transitional reverse penny. During the minting process at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, a few 1988 pennies were accidentally struck using the reverse die intended for the 1989 pennies. That means that even though the coin is dated 1988 on the front, the reverse design belongs to 1989. It's a small difference, but collectors go crazy for these transitional errors. So how can you tell if you have one of these rare 1988 pennies? You'll need to look closely at the AM in the word America on the reverse side. On the normal 1988 reverse, the letters A and M are spaced a bit farther apart. But on the 1989 reverse, which was mistakenly used for some 1988 coins, the A and M are much closer together, almost touching. You can also check the designer's initials, FG, which stand for Frank Gasparo, located near the base of the Lincoln Memorial. On the 1989 reverse, the FG is sharper and closer to the building, while on the 1988 reverse, it's more separated and slightly different in style, that if your coin has the close AM and the sharp FG, you could be holding something very special. Now, most examples of the 1988 transitional reverse penny have been found with the D mint mark, meaning they were struck in Denver, though a few have surfaced from Philadelphia as well. Let's talk about the value. While most 1988 pennies are only worth face value, the rare transitional error can be worth thousands, and in pristine, uncirculated condition, it can go up to unbelievable amounts. In one high-profile sale, a 1988 penny with the 1989 reverse reportedly fetched around $1.2 million due to its rarity, perfect condition, and collector demand. That's a life-changing discovery for something you might find in pocket change or a coin jar at home. That it's amazing to think that a small minting error can turn an ordinary penny into a treasure worth more than a house. That's what makes coin collecting so fascinating. Every coin has a story, and sometimes those stories are worth a fortune. So, if you have some 1988 pennies lying around, take a moment to check them. Grab a magnifying glass and look closely at that AM in America and the FG initials. Who knows, you might just find one of these million-dollar rarities. Before we wrap up, let's recap. The 1988 Lincoln penny was part of the long-running series honoring President Abraham Lincoln. Most are common, but a small number were struck with the reverse design intended for the 1989 issue, creating what's known as the transitional reverse error. These coins are extremely rare, highly collectible, and can be worth a fortune, with the most valuable examples selling for over $1.2 million. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more coin history and value breakdowns, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next upload. Share this video with other coin enthusiasts, and let's keep spreading the love for coin collecting. You never know, someone out there might have $1 million penny sitting in their change jar right now. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy collecting. Would you like me to make a shorter, more dramatic version, like for a 2 to 3 minute viral video, or keep it in this storytelling documentary style? Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're talking about one of the most fascinating modern coins in recent history, the 2018 D Lincoln penny. Believe it or not, this little coin that most people spend without a second thought has a version that's been valued at an incredible $1.2 million. That's right, a 1-cent coin from just a few years ago that could make someone a millionaire. So stay tuned, because we're diving into the story behind the 2018 D penny, its history, what makes certain versions so rare, and how you can tell if you might have one hiding in your pocket change. Let's start with the background. The Lincoln penny has been around since 1909, making it one of the most iconic coins in American history. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, President Abraham Lincoln, and over the years, the design has gone through a few changes. In 2010, the reverse side of the penny switched from the Lincoln Memorial design to the Union Shield design, which represents Lincoln's role in preserving the United States as one nation. By 2018, the penny featured the familiar obverse portrait of Lincoln on the front and the shield design on the back, along with the D Mint mark under the date, indicating it was struck at the Denver Mint. Now, in 2018, billions of pennies were made, so most of them are only worth 1 cent. But a handful of coins from that year have become incredibly valuable because of rare minting errors and special varieties that slipped past quality control. These are the coins collectors are constantly hunting for, the kinds that turn an ordinary penny into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery point. One of the most talked-about varieties is the 2018 D double die penny. A double die occurs when the die that strikes the coin receives 2 misaligned impressions during its creation. The result is a coin that shows doubling on the design elements, like the letters in Liberty, the date, or even the words, "I in God we trust." On the 2018 D penny, the doubling can sometimes be seen on Lincoln's face or the motto, and that's what makes it stand out. These errors are rare and instantly raise the value of the coin. There are also a few known off-center strike and die crack errors from 2018 D pennies. In an off-center strike, the design isn't centered properly, leaving part of the blank visible. Depending on how severe the misalignment is, these can sell from a few $100s up to several thousand. Die cracks, where raised lines appear across the coin because of a damaged die, can also add value depending on their location and visibility. But the real star of the 2018 D penny story is an extremely rare error that was struck on a copper planchet instead of the standard copper-plated zinc. Modern pennies are made of zinc with a thin copper coating and weigh about 2.5 grams. However, a few rare mistakes occur when a leftover copper planchet, like those used before 1982, accidentally gets mixed in and struck with the modern design. When that happens, the result is a modern penny made of solid copper, something that should not exist. Only a handful of examples of this type of modern wrong planchet error have ever been discovered, and they are among the most valuable coins of the modern ERA.IN1 extraordinary case. A 2018 D Lincoln penny struck on a pure copper planchet was authenticated and graded in near-perfect condition. The combination of rarity, composition, and flawless preservation made it one of the most desirable modern coins ever sold. When it hit the auction block, it fetched an unbelievable $1.2 million. Yes, that's right. A modern penny worth over $1 million because of a minting error that no one expected. So, how can you tell if your 2018 D penny might be special? The first thing to do is weigh it. A normal 2018 D penny made of copper-plated zinc weighs about 2.5 grams. If your penny weighs around 3.1 grams, it could be struck on a copper planchet. That's your first big clue. Next, examine the coin under good lighting or a magnifying glass. Look for any signs of doubling in the letters or numbers, especially around the date and the word Liberty. Even slight doubling can make a huge difference in value. And finally, check for any unusual color, shine, or striking flaws. Those are signs of planchet errors or die damage that might make your coin unique. The 2018 D Lincoln penny is a perfect example of how coin collecting is still full of surprises. Even in modern times, when coins are made with high-tech machinery and strict quality control, mistakes can still happen. And those mistakes are what keep collectors excited, always searching for the next hidden treasure in everyday change. Most 2018 D pennies will never be worth more than face value, but that's what makes this story so amazing. The idea that one small coin, made in Denver just a few years ago, could sell for over $1.2 million shows that even the simplest objects can hold incredible stories, and sometimes unbelievable value. So let's recap. The 2018 D Lincoln penny features the Union Shield reverse and the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front. Most are made of copper-plated zinc and are worth just 1 cent. But rare varieties, like double dies, off-center strikes, and especially those struck on copper planchets, can be worth anywhere from a few $100s to well over $1 million. The rarest of them all, a 2018 D penny struck on a solid copper planchet. Sold for an astonishing $1.2 million, it's an incredible reminder that history is still being made with every coin the U.S. Mint produces. You never know what treasures might be hiding in your pocket change, waiting to be discovered. So next time you get a handful of pennies, take a moment to look closely. You might just find a fortune in the most unexpected place. That if you enjoyed this story and want to learn more about rare coins and valuable finds, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another upload. Share this video with your friends and family. Who knows, one of them might have a 2018 D penny worth over $1 million sitting in their wallet right now. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy collecting. Would you like me to write the next one about the 2019 W. Lincoln cent, which also made headlines for being one of the rarest modern pennies?